So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Dad here from Z4 Games, bringing you one of the free hype decks right now because of the ban list only affected 3 decks, and that is of course Ritual Beasts. So we've already done Necros for you guys as well, hopefully by the time this video goes out, and I might as well do Autogeist just so you guys can see what changes. Now again, like a lot of people said, not a lot does change, but this build for Ritual Beast is complete anti-meta. I am telling you right now, this will mess with your opponent more than you know. It will cause you so many issues, and what made Ritual Beast so good in the past was because they actually like the Banish Zone. Decks that like the Banish Zone, decks that make you play under the Banish Zone are incredible. They have main deck outs to hand traps just by playing something like Defissure or Macrocosmo, because the majority of hand traps say they have to go to the graveyard. It's all about management resource right now, resourcing that Blot Dragon, that Jet Synchron, even those Eldritch Trap cards, and you're saying no. And that is what makes this deck so incredibly powerful. So please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, subscribe so you do not miss out on anything, because I'm telling you right now, play this deck, you will get some incredibly surprise wins. With that said and done, I'm going to take you through the deck, show you exactly what we've got and explain why we've got it. So we start off with the Spiritual Beast right now. We're going to start off with triple Kanahawk. This is basically the gold sark of your deck. This is the secondary card. On his own, he's not going to get you to your fusion. But if the Tamer brings Kanahawk out, you're then going to go into your ulti Kanahawk, and that's kind of like the ideal play that you want to go through. We've then got Triple Rempengu. So you banish a Rip Beast monster from your extra deck and send one Rip Beast monster from the same type as that monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it's basically a Foolish Burial, and it banishes your Kanahawks or any of your extra deck ones, and you just spin these back and off you go again. We then play the one Apelio and the one Pelipin. Now I actually really like this one, purely because it's you target one card your opponent controls by banishing one Rip Beast card from your hand, and then you return it to the hand. So it's a nice kind of compulse. You don't want a normal summon it. This one again comes off of the Tamers. The Tamers are the main important ones. And Apelio just allows you to, during the other player's turn, banish one Ritual Beast card from your graveyard. For the rest of the turn, all Ritual Beast monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. Now it's a little bit old school, but it's kind of an effect that sometimes will win you more games than you actually expect. Now onto the Tamers. This is where it gets juicy. So we play triple Spiritual Beast Tamer Winder. Winder likes to get around. She's in pretty much everything. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or effect, very rare that's going to happen nowadays, you special summon one Rip Beast monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only special summon Beast Tamer Winders once per turn. So this card is insane. It floats and then it gives you access to your extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions. So it's really good. It's just rare that your opponent's going to go, alright, I'm going to destroy this with my own card effect. Especially when effects like this are around the better players or the more experienced players, I'm not going to do that. We've then got the Mac Daddy himself. This is the main important one. Ritual Beast Tamer Elder. After you normal summon this card, you can normal summon one Rip Beast monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon or set, only gaining effect once per turn. So the idea is you normal summon this, special summon out, or not special summon out, normal summon out the Kanahawk. Kanahawk can then gold sark you a card, and then you're going to fuse these two together to get into your ulti Kanahawk, and you kind of just move your plays further forward that way. So this is why he is so important. We've then got Wen. I really like Wen. I'm considering bumping her up to 3. So if it's normal summon, you target one of your banished Rip Beast monsters and special summon it. And you'll see why she is more important than Lara. So Lara is, if it's normal, you target a Rip Beast monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So we're actually going to play around with the Banish Zone a hell of a lot more, because that control that you have within the deck, where you don't rely on your graveyard, actually causes your opponent to have so many issues, which is why this deck becomes anti-meta. What then also makes this even better on top of that is coming off these cards, of course, they get you straight into your fusions. So these, as long as you've got the setup to go, will get you into your fusions, and they allow you to kind of loop around a little bit as well. That's why Elder is the most important, because it's the one card that lets you get them out of hand for your starting game. Your later game, that's where Wen and Lara come in, and you kind of want to go from there. The last card we've got is the one Ritual Beast Tamer, Zephyra Pelica. So this one, the only reason we play this and not the other one is when this card is normaled or pendulums, mainly going to be normaled, target one Rip Beast or Zephyra monster in your graveyard, accept itself and special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. So again, it is basically a technical another Lara. If you wanted to play the other scale, you can do. That one allows you to add back from face up from your extra deck. But you'd only really be using those as scales to then pen the board. And considering most of these cards are all normal summon effects, that is why you can use and abuse this engine the most, and that is the Wind Witch engine. So we're going to play triple ice, the single glass, and the single snow. Now, I know some people play 2 glass, and arguably you can put the second glass in here, because if you open it up, your entire engine kind of negs you quite a bit. But what makes this card so good is it's a special summon. It can bait out Ashes if you're not like determined to pull this off. Obviously, ideally you do, because that gives you an indestructible Crystal Wing that can then play around the Beerus as well. Then what this can do, because it locks you into wind, you're like, I don't care, my entire deck is wind. It doesn't rely on bringing anything back from the graveyard. It also has a burn effect, which can really, really help you in time. And it just gives you a couple of different variations for the deck that actually helps you get going. So this is like your power play special summon engine. Then your Ritual Beast come in to be your power play normal summon engine. And you pretty much cover most of the basis. And then this card right here is what makes this so powerful. And that is Triple Dimension Shifter. So you're going to control your graveyard quite well and be banishing quite a lot. Your opponent does not like their cards banished. A D-Shifter dropped during your opponent's first turn will pretty much make them go, okay, pass. During your turn, you don't really need to worry about it. So you could literally, if you open up multiple of these, go pass, draw, shifter, and then they're just going to go, oh. Now, obviously, you need to get the first shifter you drop out of your graveyard, but the other is you just really, really control your opponent with shifter. It's one of the most powerful hand traps in a deck that can use it. Now, the reason this doesn't get used a lot is because a lot of decks are like, damn, I need my graveyard. But you'll see that quite a lot of decks just fold to this card. And the fact that you can make your opponent fold to this card and then go with like your Elder Tamer, or if you've already banished cards as well, you can go with your Wen. You can still use the full Wind Witch combo as well. It still allows you to play and it shuts your opponent out. Now, I'm not saying you're going to OTK with this deck, but what it allows you to do is stun your opponent, build up your own banish zone, and then build up other cards as well. So like your Crystal Wings, your Connor Hawks, and then they're all live to activate during your opponent's turn. And it basically turns a loss of the dice roll into a very, very powerful control stance. We've then got Triple Call by the Grave, because you kind of want to make sure your Wind Witch engine goes off. Everything else after this, because you do play like D-Fissure, you're technically playing 4 Call by the Graves. Because any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. There's a lot of hand traps that actually say must go to the graveyard, and I'm pretty sure, I know Ash isn't one of them. But regardless, some of these can dodge hand traps, which is great. And then the Call by the Grave kind of sweeps up the rest. This is there mainly to protect your Wind Witch engine, because that's what you want to do. The rest of your stuff you can kind of play along with, because Imperm is an issue right now. And it's one of the hand traps that you can't really stop. An Imperm on the Elder really sucks. But the idea is that you're going to be able to try and manipulate further forward from that way. You go with the Wind Witch. The Wind Witch is going to bait out either the Ash or the Imperm, and that's where Call By comes in to protect it, and then you're free to go off the rest of it. We've then got the 1 Gold Sark, the 1 E-Telly, and the 1 Foolish Burial. Now, obviously, all of these are designed to kind of keep you going. The E-Telly is quite specific because I say quite specific. It brings out your Tamers because they're all Psychics. Now, obviously, all of these cards need to be normal summons. So the E-Telly is literally just if you have, not so much Brick, but if you haven't opened up a Tamer, but you've opened up a Ritual Beast, you normal the Ritual Beast, activate E-Telly. It basically counts as another form of the Tamers for you. Onto the traps. This is probably like the best part of the deck, which is insane. Ritual Beast Steeds, love it, love it, love it. If you control a Ritual Beast monster, destroy it on the field up to the number of Ritual Beast monsters you currently control. So, of course, you're only gonna 9 times out of 10 probably control 1, but if you control more, this is just non-destruction. Okay, and clear cards off. And then if they're under D-Fissure, if they're under Macro, if they're under Dimension Shifter, all of their cards they thought they were going to play to end up extending and playing through you is going to get lost. And that's another good thing as well, is D-Shifter, you play it during your turn. Play it during your turn, set up your board, off you go. If you've got steeds, even better. Everything gets banished, not the end of the world. Past your opponent, they're going to try and play because they know that they're probably going to lose next turn if they don't. And then that's where you can start going clear, 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 clear. And the only downside to this is it is destroy monsters. So it's like, okay, if I'm playing against Eldritch and they just go set 4 pass, the chances are there's going to be like a Sanguine and other stuff in there. But then, that is where some of your other cards come into play. So for the other Ritual Beasts, we do have Double Ambush. This is awesome as well. So you target one of your Ritual Beast Tamer monsters and one of your Spirit Beast monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard. Special summon them in defense position. After this card is activated, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Rip Beast monsters. So this is just your recurrence. You banish all your stuff, even if you can't trigger off your Connor Hawks or your other extra deck Ritual Beast monsters to kind of spin those banished cards back. You just go, okay, ambush, do the job for me. Then got triple infinite impermanence. I told you, this is like the best hand trap. It's so hard to kind of stop because it is a trap. And then even if you don't drop it on turn 0, you can just set it and it will clear out a column as well, which can be very, very helpful. And then we've got Macrocosmo because, I told you, no one likes banishing. You control the banish zone or you control your opponent's ability to banish and to control their graveyard, you're pretty much going to win the game off the back of that. Now onto the extra deck. So I'm going to keep this one short, sweet and simple for everything apart from the Ritual Beasts. So for the Wind Witch engine, we've got 3 7s, and now I'll explain each of these 7s. You don't have to play all 3 7s, and you'll see later on in my extra deck what I would swap one of these out for. But these all have different reasonings behind them. So we'll start with the Wind Pegasus. This deals with Backrow. So it's a Wind, level 7, deals with Backrow, climbs into Crystal Wing. Wind Witch Winterbell is a burn effect, so it lets you to climb into Crystal Wing and gives you the burn. So you've got burn, Backrow hate, and then you've just got higher level monsters to protect against. So if your engine does fall apart a little bit and you can only get into a 7, this is your defensive option, this is your Backrow hate option, and this is your burn for time option. So you don't have to play all of these. Crystal Wing, Clearing is probably the weakest of the 3 right now because it can't be as controlled. But it does allow you to kind of stop high level monsters, so especially against Adamancer players, especially against Eldritch as well, depending on what they want to kind of do, that can really, really hurt them. But it's not that important, and this would be the one that I would say you could cut. This is just to show you your options. Of course, you've got the one Crystal Wing. You're only playing enough to do the engine once, unless you're going to play like a Monster Reborn or some kind of card to bring back the pieces you need in order to then synchro climb higher. One Crystal Wing is more than enough right now. The Limp monsters, we've got the one Ritual Beast Ulti Confalcus. This card is kind of good, so it gives you an additional normal summon. So you Ritual Beast, it points to you gain 600 in defense. Meh. You can banish one Rip Beast card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Normal summon one Rip Beast monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of this card once per turn. Quick effect, you return this card to the extra deck, then target 2 of your banished monsters, 1 Rip Beast Tamer, 1 Rip Beast Spirit Beast, special summon in defense position. So it has the same effect, it just gives you an additional normal summon. So again, that additional normal summon could then prove to bring back the materials that were used for this Link summon, if it's like a win, and then you make this plus a Rip Beast monster. Doesn't need to be played, but it kind of just gives you a little bit of effects. And then a Mac Daddy Link monster. Like, if a deck screened for a Link 4 that was going to make it a game winner, this is it. And that's Topologic Zeroboros. I mean, you're banishing so much. D-Fissure, D-Shifter, Macrocosmo, your own Ritual Beast monsters. Drop a Zeroboros on the board, game. I mean, just straight away, the combo with this, let's say you've already banished a lot. You get 2 monsters on the board, you go into the Falcus. Then use this effect to get the additional normal of a Win. Win brings back a banished one. That's 4 already. Boom, straight to Zeroboros. Zeroboros is an absolute beast and is going to clear the board off. We've then got a small rank 4 engine. So I've got Tornado Dragon because it's wind. So if you do have the ability to make the rank 4 engine, you can do. The only ways you're going to be able to do that is with additional forms of extensions, because you're only going to be able to use your Winder, your Pelipin, your Pengu, your Connor Hawk, and of course, where are you hiding? Your Apelio. So they're your level 4s. They're the ones that you're going to need to make the rank 4 play. It just gives you another option. You don't have to play these. You can cut them out nice and easily. I just think Abyss Widow is such a powerful rank 4 card right now. And then Tornado Dragon just because it's wind. So if you do lock yourself with the Wind Witch engine, you still have plays to make. Now for the fusion monsters, of course, we've got double Pelifin. So this one, again, pretty much all of them share the same effect. They must be special summoned by spinning or by banishing the materials listed. So this one is a Ritual Beast Tamer and a Spirit Beast, same as all of them. Can't be special summoned by other ways. You don't use Poly. Can't be destroyed by card effects. During either player's turn, you can return this card to the extra deck, then target 2 of your banished monsters, 1 Rip Beast Tamer, 1 Spirit Beast, and special summon them in defense. So this is just a bit of a wall card. Don't have to play it at 2. You probably cut it to 1 if you want to, but it does get you kind of that defensive play going, which is really, really important. Apelio is your offensive option. So again, 1 Rip Beast Tamer, 1 Spirit Beast, must be special summoned from the extra deck by banishing the materials, and you do not use Poly. If this card attacks, it is unaffected by other card effects until the end of the damage step. During each player's turn, return this card, special summon 2. So the idea is you do this during the battle phase. You can tag in, tag out, tag in, tag out, and it just really, really controls it. Now, the next card, I'm so sorry guys, I don't own a third. So I've only gone with 2 Rip Beast Canahawks. Now, you can take out, of course, the Clear Wing, which leads you into playing your third. So if you do have a third, by all means do so. I'm just not willing to pay right now 10 quid for a third one of this. It doesn't make a huge difference playing this at 3 to playing it at 2. So if you only have 2, don't worry, it is more than enough. Again, must be special summoned by banishing the budget materials, spinning them into the deck, banishing them, don't use Poly. And once per turn, you target 2 of your banished Rip Beast cards, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, add 1 Rip Beast card from your deck to your hands. This is your search. Obviously, it's not as strong, but the idea is that you make this, get your search off, normal summon it or special summon it, get it to the board, extend plays further, spin this back, get the 2 monsters back, and off you go, you're climbing higher. We then play the 1 Rip Beast Ulti Gaipelio. Now, you don't need to play this at all. I just like it as an additional boss monster for the deck because it requires a specific Rip Beast Ulti. So either your Conahawk, your Pelio, or your Pelipin, alongside 1 Tamer and 1 Spirit Beast. So you do need a lot of materials to go into it. And like I explained to you, the chances are, if you've got this plus 2 monsters to make Gaipelio, you've probably got enough to make your Zero Boros. So the only reason you would make Gaipelio is if it is summoned, it gains this effect. During either player's turn, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, you banish 1 Rip Beast card from your hand, negate the activation if you do destroy it. So it can't tag out like the rest, so it is kind of like the end of the chain, but it does give you an additional negation. So if you do, and you have to open up the nuts to do this, but if you can end your board on a Crystal Wing, plus your Ulti Gaipelio, plus maybe like Steeds, you've got 3 forms of interruption that's going to cause your opponent a lot of issues. Like I said, you have to open up the nuts to do it, but it is just an option. And it does give you another option to Zero Boros and Crystal Wing as well, should you need to. It is a light, so that's very, very important because if you do attempt to use this, you won't be able to get into this so easily. So you'd have to kind of combo off or work between that. And it does give you another nice beast to go with 32 and 3k. So very, very important the way you kind of resolve it. But you've got 3 boss monsters in the extra deck of your Gaipelio, Ulti Gaipelio, your Crystal Wing, and your Zero Boros. You've then got your utility cards in the Conahawk, the Apelio, and the Pelifin. And you've then got your rank 4 disruption cards in Dweller and Tornado. And then you've then got your options, like I said, back row hate, burn damage, and then if you do choose to play the Clear Wing, you've kind of got like a bit of a wall because it can deal with level 5 or higher monsters as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for the Ritual Beast deck. Welcome back from the list, or the Land of the Dead, for Conahawk. Like I said, if you have it at 3, by all means play it at 3. I just feel 2 does the job for me, and I'm not willing to, you know, jump through hoops to buy them at like 10 quid when they shut up. So I might wait for it to drop down, and then I might go, ooh, alright, I'll go buy that. But right now, 2 is doing the job for me, and hopefully it does the job for you guys as well. So I hope you like this video. Hope it gave you a couple of ideas for your own build. Like I said, I'm going anti-meta. I'm going to control my opponent's graveyard as best as I possibly can. I'm going to play to my strengths of this deck of banishing, and I'm going to play to my opponent's weaknesses of not liking their stuff banished. So for now, please smash the like button, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and until next time guys, as always, happy dueling.